13 technical fouls already.
Dinwiddie missed it.
Oh, Doncic! A grown man's jam on the follow.
Allstate.
Beautiful play, but you know what's even better than that? The precursor to that dunk, which was Luka walking back up the court, grabbing his back. But then once the shot went up, everything was A.O.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, the Lakers have waived their big man center, DeAndre Jordan, who is pretty much just coming off the bench, so nothing really too crazy about him leaving. But they did sign DJ Augustine, who's a guy that I've been trying for them to get for years because he has a cheap contract and can play coming off the bench pretty well. I don't know how much he can give them now, but he's most likely going to be doing the same thing coming off the bench as point guard. See what he can do, what he still has. And then also they recently let go of one of their two-way guys. I forget which one, but they put in another two-way contract for another young guy in Wenlin Gabriel. He's from Kentucky. He's been pretty okay, never been able to really stick on a team officially, but he's a young guy, like 24, 25, so see what he can do. Oh yeah, they gave up Siku Doyumba, who was with Detroit and all that. So I guess the same type of player away for the other. See what he can do, and, you know, maybe he could help out. Try to get a contract for next year with the Lakers. Then Oregon cornerback Jalen Davies, who actually went out to school out here in Orange County in modern day. He was one of the top California guys last season coming out of high school, and I really wanted him to come to USC, but decided to go to Oregon, sadly. But as most of these guys, he's already entered the transfer portal, which is good news for at least USC, because hopefully he wants to come back home and sees how good USC is doing and wants to join the team and, you know, join the bandwagon. It's all good, and we'll definitely welcome him with open arms because he's a very talented player. And just to add him to the cornerback room will do wonders for that room, in my opinion. So hopefully that can happen for USC. Then Charles Barkley mentioned recently that I believe when Kobe was retiring that he was really thinking about joining the Inside the NBA crew on TNT. So Shaq was already there. Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson, of course, and Charles. So it probably would have been a fiver, or maybe one of them would have left. But you never know. I know Charles has been saying he's going to most likely leave after his next 2 years are up, whenever that is on his contract, which sucks because he's been great. But a guy who's actually been doing a lot of good for them, who I never really liked because he was with Golden State, but Draymond Green is pretty good, being an analyst there as well. So maybe he could fill in the role, because he hasn't been playing really well last couple years, especially due to injury. So maybe he might just retire. But yeah, overall, that would have been pretty awesome, because I know Kobe did it a couple of times. I remember before Shaq went on there, they had added Kobe on that crew as a quadruple, and it was pretty good, those couple episodes. So definitely sucks that we couldn't see it, but definitely glad it was at least in the talks, or could have been a possibility. Then the Anaheim Ducks recently played the Boston Bruins, and they got that victory 4-3 with a late goal from their young guy Trevor Zegras. So glad they're able to get this victory against a Boston team. I don't know how good they've been lately. I think they haven't been winning as much, but it looks like they're still in playoff contention. So let's see what type of streak they could get on the rest of the season. Then the Duke Blue Devils went on the road up to Pittsburgh and got that victory pretty convincingly. They were winning by 30 points at one point and ended up getting the victory at 30 points, 86-56. Once again, one of their freshmen stepped up. This time it was Trevor Keels' turn to get a career high. I believe his career high was like 26 or 27. He hit 5 3-pointers, so pretty efficient night for him. But like I said, hopefully this is going the way Duke was, because this is what they kind of did when they won that 2015 championship, where certain of the three, top freshman guys stood out on their way to the Final Four and championship game. And every game, it was somebody else who stepped up and did really well and had a career game. So hopefully that can happen. I don't think it's because I don't think it's gonna look good for USC because they got pounded yesterday by the number 2 team in the nation, Arizona, pretty badly. At one point, it was like a 30, almost 40-point loss. So sucks to see that, but yeah, I'm definitely having more hope for Duke as of right now. So we'll see how that goes. Then of the New England Patriots, one of their top free agent guys that's going to be up in a couple of weeks right now is J.C. Jackson, a cornerback. He's been one of the better cornerbacks the past couple years, obviously, since he's with the defensive-minded coach in Bill Belichick of New England. So, but the only reason why this might be a good fit and maybe a possibility for the Chargers is because the Patriots don't like to give contracts, especially big ones, to their guys who are off their rookie deals. And when it's a cornerback position, they always ask for a heck of a lot of money. So I don't know if the Chargers should make this deal. A lot of people say they should. It could be a good thing. It could be a guy who just might have been playing well the past 2 years to get his money. But you never know. So we'll see. But could be interesting whether they do get him or not. Then yes, once again, Shaq had a recent quote saying that if the Lakers were to trade LeBron James, they would never, I forget if it was never win again or never win a championship again. I don't know. At some point, you got to be able to do something because last night, once again, another loss to Dallas. It was a lot closer game than the previous one against the Pelicans, but LeBron, they did an ISO cam, some YouTube highlight did of him last night. It was about 8 minutes throughout the whole entire game, and it's just weird because at times LeBron looks like LeBron, and then other times he's blaming his players, like he's wondering what the heck they're doing. He's not getting back on defense and playing good enough defense, letting guys go up, get dunks or layups. And then towards the end of the game, you could just tell like the way he's walking or running, it's not like him being 100% either. So I kind of, congratulate him to being able to play with some type of injury that he has. He's not 100%, unlike some other people on the Lakers, but overall, I think he's just more doing it to get better numbers so he can say it wasn't his fault, but in reality, he is kind of a liability out there when he can't play defense and stay in front of your man. And Luka Doncic, my dude, he freaking went off against him, had a couple of nice plays down the stretch. He even asked for LeBron to guard him so he could do work on him, and he did. And he scored on him with some crazy shots, and because he knew that LeBron was not 100% healthy, but that's what we got to deal with right now, I guess. And speaking of LeBron and management of the Lakers, apparently, according to some report, that Jeannie Buss, the majority owner of the Lakers, had supposedly stood up to LeBron, saying that whatever that he should stop doing, whatever he has been doing, because they let him have the reins and make certain trades and all this stuff before the past couple seasons they have, and it has not turned out well for them. So she finally put her foot down and stood in front of them making a dumb trade to where it's helping LeBron maybe win now, but it's most likely not going to win now because the Lakers are so depleted, but also to kind of save the Lakers' future, because it's like, why are you going to keep giving up all these first-round picks? Yes, the next handful of years, they still have their first-round pick. It's just they can't trade it for some reason because it's in a pick swap with the Pelicans. So if the Lakers somehow have a worse record than the Pelicans, then the Pelicans will say, oh, hey, we can switch with you so we get the better player in the draft. So I don't know how that comes out to when they can trade it. Maybe that offseason going into the draft, they probably could. But as of right now, I don't think they could trade him. So we'll see how this goes. Like I say, should be very interesting. Then Tom Telesco of the Chargers said that, because Justin Herbert's on a quarterback rookie deal and they got a lot of cap space to use in free agency, that he thinks they will be able to do something big and, do a lot of good once free agency starts in a couple weeks. I hope so. A lot of times when they've had money, they've always given it to wrong guys or re-signed some of their players and they probably shouldn't have. So I don't know. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I just hope they make the correct moves. I know a couple guys I would make moves for. I'll get to that later in this video, but he can't screw this up, because if he does and they have a worse record next season and they don't make the playoffs even, then I think he's definitely going to get fired, in my opinion. Then recently, after the game yesterday, it kind of came out that both the Lakers and Russell Westbrook kind of agreed that once this season is over and it's summertime, that he will be willing to maybe look to get his contract traded or get traded to some other team, because he's not looking to get bought out or, sadly the Lakers try to waive him like how they once did with Luka Doncic. They can stretch out his contract so you could pay it over the next 2 to 3 years, but at 40-something million, that's about 16 million per year, which is a lot. Even Luka Doncic was stretched over 5 years and was still owed 5 million per year, which we're finally gonna get off and be able to get another extra contract for a solid player next offseason. But yeah, I think the Lakers can make a trade with this guy. You might have to involve that future first-round pick, but you could get something good in return that could help you out in the immediate future. Then, as I mentioned, a big trade or something that the Tom Telesco and the Chargers could do is apparently Saquon Barkley, who was the number 2 overall pick for the Giants a few years back, is apparently on the trade market. The GM of the Giants said pretty much everybody is on the trade block. He will listen to anything, any type of trades or scenarios people can think of for players on his team. So, to include a guy like that is pretty interesting, because he was considered once in a generation type of running back. He sadly, after his first year, which was pretty good, suffered a couple of leg injuries and hasn't really been able to stay healthy on the field. But he's only missed about 20-something games of the 60 that he could have played, so it's not too bad. But you definitely know that he's going into his final year of his rookie deal, and then you'll probably have to either franchise tag him or try to give him a new contract. He's definitely going to want to get paid like one, especially if he has a good year this next season coming up. But I think he's a guy you could take a chance on, because you don't want to let him go to some type of other team, like, say, Green Bay, if Rodgers is still there, or wherever Rodgers is, or even, Seattle, or go with Kansas City and be the freaking running back there, which would be ridiculous. But it could happen. So I think the Chargers got to be diligent and do something, because I know they have Mike Williams, and I don't know if they really want to re-sign him or not, but I know that looks like they might. Or they could just franchise tag him and keep him for a year. But I know that you can apparently trade guys who you franchise tag. So if you franchise tag them to trade them to the other team who's going to work out a deal with them in the future, then that's all good. So, but if you franchise tag him, he's about 18 million for a wide receiver, and Saquon is only around 7 million because of his rookie deal. So you have to add a couple other players. So maybe you might have to take on more salary with another wide receiver on the Giants, like a Kenny Galladay, or even if you want a cornerback on defense, you go with a Dory Jackson from USC. Of course, would be a nice thing. Nice thing. He gets around 10 to 13 million. I think Galladay's around 13 million. But overall, I don't think if you have to give up a first round pick, then you shouldn't do it. I think that's some desperation right there. I think you could get away with a third round and a future third or fourth round pick. Maybe do the player swap and all this other stuff. But the only good thing, if you get a Galladay or a Jackson in that trade, they have clauses after this season coming up that you can get rid of them or waive them, and it doesn't go against your books or cost you any money. So if it doesn't work out for a 1 year thing, you either try to trade them, and if not, then just let them go, and you don't have to worry about money in the future. So I think it's a win-win if they try to do this. Let's just hope that Tom Telesco is actually, aggressive in free agency, and it could help out. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye now.